Hello, my name's Mark Champkins. I'm a designer and inventor, and I work at the Science Museum as their Inventor-in-Residence, and I'm here to answer questions about invention, science and engineering. Johnny, who's 16 from Dorset, asks, how much do you think real invention is like design and technology at school? Do you go through the design process with specifications in the same way? Well, yes, I do. I remember when I was at school, it was just quite dull going through design brief and then sort of explore and widen out the options and pin one down and then design it, and it just seemed quite methodical. But actually, it's really useful, and if there's a teacher not telling you to do it, you find yourself doing it anyway. Joe, aged 11 from Hampshire, asks, what would you invent if you had £1 million for equipment? Now, it might sound strange, but £1 million probably isn't that much money. So I would do something like potholes. I would try and fix potholes. So I cycle everywhere in London and I'm forever hitting a pothole, and I notice cars doing it. So I'd like to invent something like a rubber or something that sets really quickly, that you could just pour into potholes really quickly, and it sets it, so you could do it yourself or the workman could go around and do it, and it's just a better solution to tarmac, and we could completely eradicate potholes, which doesn't seem like a big problem, but I think the amount of injuries and crashes that causes, I'd love to see a solution for it. And I think to get a really good solution that worked for the whole of the UK would probably cost about £1 million. Jenny, who's aged 15 from Essex, asks, how much of your inventions needed scientific inquiry and engineering principles? Well, to be honest, absolutely everything I've done has required science or engineering to develop. This is an idea. These are heat packs that you can buy in camping shops, and they look like a liquid in a kind of bag, but they get hot. They change. Let me show you. If you click the disc inside, you can probably see that it looks like ice growing in fast forward, and I ended up using it in crockery, plates, cups and bowls that are hollow, that are full of this liquid, so you can have a nice hot cup of coffee or keep your food warm longer, and then you can recharge it by putting it in a dishwasher, and that gives the heat energy back to it. But I very quickly, I didn't know how this worked, and it's changing from a liquid phase to a solid phase, and what happens to the molecules are moving around quite fast in a liquid, and then when they go into a solid they have to kind of hunker down, and they lose a lot of their energy to form a more stable and less mobile form, but in order to lose that energy they throw it out as heat. Now, I didn't understand any of that when I started the project, but I needed to understand it to know how this worked and know how it recharges and know how to manipulate it. So very quickly I ran into science or engineering principles. Jack, who's aged 17 from Derbyshire, asks, if you're in my shoes and 17-year-old A-level student, what idea would you take forward and research for the National Science and Engineering competition? Well, I don't want to give away too much about our judging criteria and how we decide what wins, but what I would say is the best projects that we come across tend to be things that students are genuinely passionate about, something that you're actually interested about, and it translates from what you have to do at school to what you want to do in your free time. So you end up finding people who are doing stuff purely because they enjoy it and they're really interested in it, and those tend to make the best projects. If any of these answers have given you any ideas, then please do enter the National Science and Engineering competition and show us just how brilliant you are.